Frank Motors, authorized dealer of Tata Motors PV, is now open at Lightcorny, Shillong. We are here to offer you India's most safest cars and to ensure you to get the most out of owning a Tata vehicle.
Ka Mount Olive Culinary and Hospitality Management Shillong ka khot admission haki professional courses bapair. Yaka jingtip ka ba khamnya lecture ka city office 100-fold academy ha malki.
Emily ka khnam na Norchlong ba Adelbert nongrum ula le Khluit da ka batid met pat hla Hapoh Iingdorbar thawan Halor ka mat penbet put pat ka jala Assam. Ya ka jingkali Halor ka kam penbet put bala wanra du Emily ka nongpo uba meral bonds im lai atai jan bro shikinta bat kalami ru ka jing Khluit hadin ba uba Adelbert ula kli ya umentri rang ba unut ne em ban phaidin biang ya ka soskula ne ka MOU ka blai soi hapreng ka Meghalaya pat Assam. Habrang gani jingkali kalami jing pen in ya ka ba Khluit ha ka ba ula yengru usambut menteri rang ba uba prestun tin song pat na kalyang ulam phang ka Iingdorbar uba met ba lingdo ula temno ya gani jing ya Hapoh juba bi jingkali uba Adelbert menteri rang ba konrad ki sangma ula bu jingkali kala yo MLA ka Norchlong ban yathu ya ki kerteng jo ki khat artli ki jaka ba ya kaja pat katnu sin ula le chakita ki jaka Hapoh jubab shushu konrad ula ong ba sarkar kala note banya chakmat bat ka jing ekran penbet ya upod usam bat benrap da ka baong ba ka jingkli uba Adelbert ba unut ne em ban phaidin biang ya ka MOU ka dei ka jingkran khlung konrad ula ong ru ba ula pdang ya ka jing ai jingmut halo ni ka kam bat kumjo ka pdang ya ki jing kenno bat ki jing kentho ki dei ban long ki bala ban tei ha ko bai ka liang umti rang ba rai thu pa ha ki phrapnai pla ya ka jing ekran penbet put ula lum nyutli ki jing lang ki ba kerpang ki ba kentup arsin ba ki seng sain perthai ki jela pat arsin ba ki seng phalang ba ki la don ru bun ki jing lang ba man la ka po the regional committee.
Reply to star question 52A. Sir, the border talks with the government of Assam has reached the second phase to resolve the remaining 6 areas of differences. 52B, sir, the process of survey for the purpose of demarcation of borders is underway. C, sir, the second phase of talks with the government of Assam has already commenced on 21st of August 2022.
Yes, Honorable.
Honorable Speaker, sir, we are happy to see that the government is serious in taking up this very serious issue that has been lying pending for many decades. Successive governments in the past have tried their level best in solving this problem. We cannot deny the fact that the outgoing Chief Minister, late Bibi Lungdo, late by Ike Maulong, Dr. Didi Lapang, Dr. Mukul Sangma, they have tried their best by taking many initiatives to solve these issues. The present government, under the leadership of Honorable Chief Minister Conrad Sangma and the whole government, have tried to solve this issue, and we have seen positive steps has been taken. Regional committee has been formed, and successive exercise has been taken at the ground. Sir, despite of the effort taken by the government, there are resentment among the people residing at the border area. And from the Hima, the Rai, the Rangbashnong, we have seen resentment and agitation. My question, sir, number one, will the government of Meghalaya will make any attempt to revisit and review the Memorandum of Understanding and try to get back some of the villages and areas that have been given to Assam? If yes, it is a positive step, and if no, sir, what is the stand of the government?
Sir, he had asked 3 supplementaries in one, sir. So just to make a note of that. But sir, coming to the question in itself, sir, it's of course a very important issue, and as the honourable member himself has mentioned, a very complicated process where previous governments have also done their best to try to come to a conclusion. And hence the steps we took were not easy, they were very difficult. But in the interest of the people and the state, and in the interest of ensuring that there is long-lasting peace, the government went ahead after detailed consultation with many stakeholders, including the HIMAS and the Khasi Hills Autonomous District Council, the Jayanti Hills, as well as political parties and different organizations. So to reply to his question specifically, number one, so the question of revisiting the MOU does not arise. The first MOU that has been signed, that is signed in the presence of the Honorable Home Minister of Government of India, and the question of going into and reviewing that does not arise. Number two, sir, he mentioned that will there be efforts to get back the villages which we have lost. So just to inform the Honorable Member that maximum of the villages that have come to us, in fact most of the villages have come to us, and in maximum of villages that were there, it has been because of the will of the people. So the people in those areas have expressed their willingness, and that is why both the states have decided to go with, whether the willingness was with Assam, they went with Assam. When the willingness was with Meghalaya, it came with Meghalaya. So the villages left out, as being mentioned by the Honorable Member, it is very important to, at least in this House, to discuss. When we say left out, what does the exact definition of left out mean? And number two, which are these villages that we are talking about? Because, sir, if there are demands from people which have been there for villages which were never in the discussion, which were never in the disputed areas originally, and which are way inside the boundaries of Assam and are not as per the demarcated areas of differences, which the map that we had submitted in 2011-12, saying that we're leaving them out would be not correct, at least on the floor of the House. Because those areas were never in the consideration. They were never in Meghalaya, sir. In the sense, they were never in the disputed area. I'm sorry, I stand corrected. They were never in the disputed area. And hence, today, some villages, because of the talks that have started, are today saying that they would also want to be in Meghalaya. Hence, for us to now add them into the list is highly, very difficult. So if you're saying leaving those villages out, then we have to give the right explanation. What I'm trying to say, sir, is that generalizing a statement and saying the villages that were left out would be incorrect. In this whole, the exercise that we did, I can tell you, sir, like villages were there which were in, say for example, sir, in Gizang area. So in Gizang area, there was a village called Malsapara, sir. Now this Malsapara village, which is way up north towards the boundary of Assam, and which is beyond the Gizang Reserve Forest. So therefore, it was like a block where Malsapara is on top, and there's a whole reserve forest, and then the other Amagaon and the other village, Gohani Mara, come in there. So Gohani Mara and Amagaon are the villages that agreed to come to Meghalaya. Whereas after the Gizang Reserve Forest, which is about 10 square kilometers, comes a village called Malsapara. Now, people of Malsapara, when the discussion was taking place in that village, people said they would like to be with Assam. So hence, with the principle of people's will, Malsapara was agreed by both states and by the people of Malsapara that they would like to go to Assam. So hence, we have to be very specific and clear when we talk about which village we're talking and what category they fall under. So if the Honorable Member has a specific name of the village, sir, I would be happy to reply to that. And I think, sir, these were the main two questions that he had asked.
Thank you for that elaborate explanation. So my question number two, may I know from the Honorable Chief Minister, whether signing of MOU is purely based on the recommendation of the 3 regional committee or as per para 20 of the 6th schedule of our constitution?
So the MOU and the discussions and the final outcome that came was based on multiple factors. It was, of course, we looked at the past records, we looked at all the aspects of the 6th schedule and the original maps, the traditional maps that were there. All those areas were discussed. Second, sir, we went into aspects of the public opinion. So we had large public hearings that took place. And in those public hearings, people gave their opinion, and literally kind of a voting took place where people were asked, like a referendum almost, where people were asked which side would they like to be. And apart from that, we also looked at contiguous areas. So we looked at the fact that if the different villages are already way into Assam and or way into Meghalaya, and the demands and the actual logistics don't allow that contiguity to follow, those were factors that were there. Number 4, we also looked at the overall aspect of giving proper administration to those areas. So which areas would be more convenient if the administration had gone to Assam or Meghalaya. So there were multiple factors that we looked into. So it was not that it was basically only the decision of what the regional committees came in. But the regional committees' reports were very important, simply because of the fact that they contained the most important aspect, which is the people's will. So therefore, that gave a huge weight to the entire discussion, but many other factors were involved in the final conclusion of the MOUs.
So in the course of response at B, so the process of survey for the purpose of demarcation of borders is underway. So may I know from the Honorable Chief Minister, at the time of demarcation, maybe the Department of Revenue or the Survey of India be there at the ground, whether the stakeholder, like the Iingdorbar, because we have seen they have been agitated, the RAD, the HIMA, the District Council will take into consideration their views, their opinion at the time of demarcation.
So the process of demarcation, as decided by both the states in the presence of the Honorable HM of Government of India, was that both the states' departments will be present, representatives will be there, whether from Revenue Department or other departments, but normally it's the Revenue Department. And at the same time, obviously, Survey of India will do the actual mapping. So number 1, sir, the presence of both the state governments' respective departments is mandatory for any kind of survey work to be done. Number 2, sir, we realize the sensitivity of this entire matter, because while we have given a general MOU saying that these villages are going to be in Meghalaya, these areas are going to be in Assam, the question again comes into micro detailing of, say, suppose a tree is there. Sometimes the discussion goes down to that level, that whether this is going to be from this tree, from left or right. So obviously the local stakeholders, villagers will play an important role in this. I'm not saying that things will be decided by that, but it will be done in a manner in which we will take the opinions of the people. But ultimately a final decision has to be reached. So we are hopeful that as we move forward, as we try to do this survey exercise, by involving and consulting everybody, we hope to reach to consensus. And of course, there are some areas where there are small concerns that are coming up. And in those, we are not rushing. We are in fact taking the people into confidence, explaining to them, discussing with them, and only then we'll decide, we'll move forward. So, but the process will be continuous, and we'll try to finish it as soon as possible, but it will be done by taking the people also of the area into confidence.
So when we talk about the second phase of talk, which have already commenced on 21st of August 2022, taking into consideration that most of this 12 area of difference, it is based on that report conducted in 2011. We have seen the resentment, the agitation by the people in different parts of our state. Whether there is a scope, if there is a scope that the base can be done from out of this 12 area of difference, because in the past we have seen agitation. There is a scope in the second phase that it will not be only based on that 2011 report, where with new survey or new ideas taking into consideration all the stakeholders, the HIMA, the district council in whole of our state, where there is a scope like that, say in the second phase, to take into consideration of their view out of that 2011 report.
Sir, this is a very important point that the honourable member has mentioned. So the exact details of the report that was submitted to Government of Assam is of course here with me. And so these, as was mentioned earlier, sir, talks, negotiations like these is a process. And hence, at every step along the way, certain decisions are made. And those decisions are made on behalf of the respective governments. Now, when those decisions are made, government is a continuous process, governance is a continuous process. So for us today to say that what happened in 2011 was wrong is all right, but in this case wrong, what is the honourable member is indicating to, then it would be saying that the government of Meghalaya itself did not do things correctly enough. So therefore, sir, it is not so simple. My point is that it's not very simple. A document has been submitted, maps have been drawn, villages have been named, number of villages have been mentioned out there. Today, when we go to discuss this with Government of Assam, if we change that, Government of Assam will ask us, well, you gave us this list in 2011, suddenly what happened? How we come here with a new demand is there? So it becomes difficult for us to justify a major change. But where it's possible, sir, of course, we try to discuss and try to adjust. That might be the best word I can use. We try to adjust. But moving away from the major document that has been submitted in 2011-12 would be very difficult. Like, for example, if we say, well, there are not 12 areas, but there are 14 areas of differences. It'll be difficult for me to today convince Government of Assam that how come we had 12 areas and then now suddenly we have 14 areas. It'll be difficult for me to convince, suppose we had 8 villages we asked, and today suddenly we say we want 15 villages. Government of Assam will question that how come you had only 8 villages and now you're asking for 14. So these are not so simple, and major changes and major demands and additions may not be so simple. But wherever possible, sir, wherever possible, along with our counterparts and the Government of Assam, we will try our best to do whatever we can in the larger interest of our people. But I cannot give a commitment on the floor of the House that changes will be made to the different reports that were submitted in 2011. It's a very difficult exercise to change those. But as I said, wherever possible, we will discuss, we will try to make adjustments, and with the collaboration and support of our state stakeholders and the Government of Assam, if there are areas which we could adjust, so we will definitely try. But as I said, it will be wrong for me to give that commitment, sir, on the floor of the House. As of now, we will have to stick with the 2011-2012 report submitted by Government of Meghalaya for these areas of differences.
Last question, sir.
Last question.
Yeah. So thank you so much for that explanation. So keeping in mind that the Land Act has been in place in Khasi Hill Autonomous District Council, it is very important that all the stakeholders has to be take on board. The District Council, the Hima, the Raj, Rangba Shnong, in all those areas, the Wahet Shnong or the Nokoma Iingdorbar Hills. So, when will be the regional committee, or where that all regional committee for the second phase will take place, or when will be the new regional committee will be constituted and notified, and whether the stakeholder from KHADC, JHADC or GHADC will be part and parcel of this committee.
So we have finalized the list of regional committees. There will be, for all practical purposes, there will be new committees, but it may still have the old members in that. But technically, it will be a new committee for the 6 areas of differences. And, and yes, sir, to the second part of the question, that yes, the representatives from the respective autonomous district councils will also be part of that, sir.
Sir. Yes, my George.
Sir, I have a copy of the MOU signed between the two Honorable Chief Ministers of Meghalaya and Assam. I refer to clause 9 of the MOU, sir. One part of the MOU reads like this. It was decided that any other areas, villages, situated outside the area of difference shown in the maps submitted by Meghalaya White Dead Letter number POL.78/210/209 dated 8th August 2011 will not be considered. So therefore, with this clause, it is understood that there are areas outside the areas of differences that have been claimed by Meghalaya in 2011. And as per this clause, the government of Meghalaya agreed not to discuss on those areas that lie outside the areas of differences, but to stick only to those areas of differences, and therefore the areas that even have been claimed by Meghalaya in 2011 do not or are not part of the MOU. Sir, during the course of the reply of the Honorable Chief Minister, he said it is very difficult to move away from the document that is submitted or that was submitted by Meghalaya in 2011. And now in the MOU, they have moved away from the documents that have been submitted by Meghalaya in 2011. Sir. So we are having contrasting replies. One, the MOU says they have moved away from the document of 2011 where they have said that areas that lie beyond the area of differences will not be considered. They agreed to it. And here we have another reply that they will not move away from the documents of 2011. So which one, sir, do we take? Because the MOU says differently, sir.
So both are the same thing. I don't know if the member has read this carefully. Both are the same points. The simple point is that there was a map that was submitted by Government of Meghalaya in 2011. What we decided in the MOU is that we can't go outside that map. And as I said, for all practical purposes, it's difficult for us to convince Assam today that, yes, in 2011, these were the areas of differences, but today we realized, oh, there are another 20 villages more, so please increase it. So therefore, Assam and we decided that since 2011, the maps were submitted, and it is very difficult, and Assam have made it a very strong point, that since you have already demarcated the areas, that is the area we will discuss. So any areas beyond that cannot be. That is what is said in the MOU, and that is what I just said just now, sir. They're the same thing.
No, sir. The Honorable Chief Minister should refer to the MOU. The MOU says they will not consider the areas beyond the area of differences, but here it is saying that there are areas submitted by Meghalaya as per maps in 2011 which they did not consider. It means that the MOU stuck only on the areas of differences but ignored all those areas, even though claimed by Meghalaya in 2011, beyond the area of differences which the MOU ignored.
So it's the way you want to read it from legal point of view, but the intention and the subject of this entire thing is that it was decided that any other areas situated outside the areas of differences shown in the map will not be considered. It's simple, sir. I don't see any complication in that. It was decided that any other villages situated outside the areas of differences shown in the map submitted by Meghalaya will not be considered. So just to add to what I'm trying to say, sir, I know it's not, you cannot see this, sir, but these are the areas of differences that were there, and this is the topo map that was submitted. Now, so there is the areas of differences that come in, and there is an area up there called Garojan. These are the area of differences. It's maybe about 10 square kilometers, 10 kilometers or 20 kilometers away from these areas of differences. Now, these came up in the meeting. Villagers from that area came and said, we want to be with Meghalaya. So my question is now today, if he's saying that we're leaving them out, sir, you have to understand the situation. Number one, Garojan was never in the list that was submitted or the map that was submitted in 2011. Number one. Number two, Garojan is 10 kilometers almost, I can't make out how much it is, but beyond 5 kilometers for sure, maybe even more, away from the areas of difference that were there. So what this MOU is saying is that these kind of areas today, if you come up and say that they will also have to be considered, we put up in the MOU that it will not be considered. It's as simple as that, it's the same thing, sir.
So if that is the case, then whether the area around Khanapara, near the ISBT, whether that area belonged to Meghalaya or did it belong to Assam then, sir?
So that's why the areas of differences are there. The question again, sir, there are two parts of the question. First part, he said that why aren't the areas which were outside? We have said it in the MOU that those will, even though there were areas of differences in 2000 level, they will not be considered, which was incorrect. We have said clearly that the villages within the map are there, and anything outside the map cannot be considered. So that's clear, number one. So that we should not mix that with the second point now he's mentioning. Now, it's not. The point is that in Khanapara, the areas of differences which are there, their discussions took place. But today, if you go beyond these areas of differences that are there and say, well, we want this village which is 20 kilometers away from Khanapara, that also should be included. That is not possible. That's the first part of what he's saying. But the second part, which he's saying now, is that in Khanapara, the villages that are there will not be considered. So the areas of differences which are there, which were drawn in the map in 2011, and the areas of differences which are there within that map, obviously, sir, the whole idea of discussion and talks with Assam is that these are areas of differences, let us sort it out. So obviously the villages which were in the list of 2011 will definitely be discussed. But if now today we bring in a new village and say, well, let's add this to the areas of differences, that will not be possible is what the MOU is saying.
So we're not talking beyond the MOU. We're talking within the MOU itself. Now, what I'm saying is that if we have sent, it is agreed that the STC transit camp, 2 police outposts, Namgarh, Assamese inhabited areas, one number Khanapara village and Dreamland Resort area totaling approximately 0.03 square kilometer will be with Assam. Whether this area was under the area of difference, sir? Because till we know, till the historical facts and the data says that these were areas of Meghalaya. And now they were not in the area of differences at all. But then they have now been given to Assam. So what are we seeing here, sir? That is what I'm asking.
So the areas of differences and the maps that were submitted, based on that, the discussions have taken place. Be very clear on that, sir. You can keep playing with words and keep talking,
sir. This is not playing with words, sir. This is the MOU, sir. I brought the MOU. Please ask the Chief Minister to refrain from putting words in my mouth. I am talking the MOU. I have brought the MOU and quoted the MOU, sir. I am just asking, when this area was never part of the area of difference, why was it given to Assam? That is the question.
Sir, it was within the discussions and within the areas of differences.
Process.
Mr. Speaker, sir. So may I know from the Honorable Chief Minister reply to be the process of survey for the purpose of demarcation of border is underway. So may I know from the Honorable Chief Minister, we understand that the MOU signed by the government of Meghalaya and the government of Assam, that it will go to the Parliament. Since the Parliament have not been accepted about the MOU, whether survey can be taken place, sir?
Sir, the process is like this, that after the two states agree on a general guideline or a MOU, as we call it, where we decide that these areas, these villages will be in Assam or this will be in Meghalaya, then it is the work of the Survey of India to then finally demarcate the actual borders, actual line, which particular tree, which particular, the pillar will be where, it's the same country, so there's no pillar as such, but at least there will be a mark, demarcation of saying that, well, this is the point where it is, and if necessary, obviously we'll construct the pillars also. But it's not like Bangladesh and India that we have to, work on it that way. But yes, some demarcation will take place, sir. Once that demarcation is taken place, once that report is submitted, then a bill will be sent to the Parliament to be then for the new kind of boundary to be set up. That's how the process is. So this process had to be done first, and then the bill is prepared accordingly, and then the boundaries are then passed in the Parliament, sir.
So I could understand, sir, from the reply of Honorable Chief Minister, the option of the Survey of India will go and visit on the spot of the border which all demarcate Assam and Meghalaya. So like we already knew, because of the resentment of many people in the border areas, even others. Supposing now if on the day that the official of the Saudi of India went on visit on that spot. If all the people in that areas, because as of now, sir, somebody claimed that we are in Meghalaya, why we go to Assam, why we go to Meghalaya. On that day of the government, or the official of Saudi of India visit, also demand and request to the official of the Saudi of India. If they request, we request the official of the Saudi of India to convey the message to the Home Ministry that this is the request. That again, we would like to revisit about the settlement of the border issue of Assam and Meghalaya. If that will be the case, what is the fate of the MOU, sir?
So I could not understand the question actually, but I'll try to reply to whatever I could understand. So the point is that the MOU, as I said, sir, has mentioned that this village and this village will be in Assam, in Meghalaya, and this village will be in Assam. Now, the question arises why Survey of India has to come in is to say that what will be the border of that particular village. So where do we draw the line? So these are the micro details that we have to go to. The principle that these villages and these areas will be in Meghalaya and these areas will be in Assam has been decided. So the Survey of India and the two state government departments, their responsibility will be primarily now to demark that part which is there. And we expect that there should not be much complication at the grassroots level. Maybe 25–30% there could be. That's because there were some areas, as I had mentioned, where we had drawn the maps. We had drawn the maps in 2011 and 12. And we submitted those maps to Assam. And, the Assam had written back to us in 2012, mentioning that though you have these villages you have marked and you've drawn the map, the village that you're mentioning is outside the areas of differences. Even Assam wrote back to us and saying that, how are you demanding this village in your list, when in the map itself you have shown this village outside already in Assam. So that letter also is there with me right now. I'll just read out that part. They said that the village of Malang Salbari is marked in red outside the area of difference, but we are demanding it. So now the question arises, sir, is that these kind of micro problems that are there, which of course we didn't expect, that we're demanding Malang Salbari, but in the map we put it and we showed it's outside and already in Assam. Now what do we do in complicated situations like these? So sir, these kind of micro planning and details will have to be worked out. It's not simple. I don't want to go into too much of details, but what I'm trying to say is that it's not a simple exercise. So there will be complications. There will be a lot of processes where we'll have to just keep discussing, keep going back and forth. But it is moving forward. And we hope that we'll be able to conclude it also in the right time and ensure that it moves forward. But as I said, sir, it's not a simple process. So to answer very specifically to what the Honorable Member said, the Survey of India and the different departments of the state governments, their responsibility is limited to giving the micro details of the borders based on the MOU that has been signed, not to recommend the changes in the MOU as such.
Last question.
So I understand about the limited power of the official of Survey of India, unlimited of the official from the government of Meghalaya and Assam. But my point is here, because now hue and cry of this issue, I can understand now, even in the people residing in the border areas, if on the day that the official visit both sides, the people residing in areas, they have only have in hand and submitted the complaint or the protest to the government of India. Yes, I understand that the official of Survey of India, even our official of Assam and Meghalaya don't have any power. Supposing now if they handed over the letter and said that this letter you handed over to the Union Home Minister because we are not satisfied with the process of settlement, and the request will look and revisit. If that will be the fate, what is the stand of the MOU? That is my intention, sir.
Sir, I think it's a very simple answer. The MOU is not affected by that. But obviously people can give their representation, and obviously we will examine where it's possible. As I said, sir, in a case like Garojan, which is about 5–10 kilometers up north into Assam, if they say that we don't accept this MOU, it's difficult for us to figure out how we will include them or how we'll satisfy their demands, because it's not possible, sir. But yes, of course, if there are certain areas which are right at the border, because as I said, a village like Malang Salbari. So if the map was drawn like this, and there the border was shown, and suddenly Malang Salbari was shown in the map and the dot as already in Assam. So in the map we are not claiming it, but in the list of villages we are claiming it. So it's a contradictory statement, though it's about 50 meters from that line. So the question is, in those areas, maybe discussion talks may take place, but I can't guarantee things, because these are discussions that have to move forward. But sir, at the end, I just want to make this statement and appeal to everybody, sir. That almost about 28 meetings took place when we discussed this entire border issue. 18 field visits were done, 18 of them, sir. This would mean, and every day maybe 3 to 4 meetings took place. So you can well imagine there were maybe close to about 50 meetings that took place, public hearings that took place at the grassroots level. Number two, sir, while we did that, almost 90 to 95 to even maybe 98% of the areas which actually are not complaining today because they are satisfied. So we are not hearing much from them. But large number of areas, as I keep mentioning, sir, Tarabari is a sector which was completely under the administrative control of Assam, and we claimed it. But everything from voting to power to the water to everything, roads, everything was being given by Assam. But when the public hearing took place and the people said that we would like to be in Meghalaya, all those villages have come to us. It was, in fact, if you ask the local leaders there, they will tell you that they are quite surprised that we managed to get that. Now, people are not talking about that because people are already satisfied in those areas. What I'm trying to say is that there are specific areas which there are concerns. Like, for example, as I said, Malang Salbari, Huhuapara, and Malang Jaipur. These 3 villages are a matter of concern. This side, we have the Maikuli and the pond in Maikuli. So like that, if we can specifically identify the villages and the concerns, let us talk to the people there, let us meet them, let us show them the whole process, and then try to move forward. Generalizing the whole thing, sir, and saying that everybody is complaining is, again, as I said, is not the correct picture, is what I'm saying, and it does not help in resolving the problem. So we are ready to discuss and talk to the people, but revisiting the MOU is very difficult. It's not going to happen, sir. I shouldn't say very difficult, sir. It's not going to happen. We are not revisiting the MOU. But as I said, there are certain areas which are right along the border. If discussion is there, we will try and talk to our counterparts and see how we could figure out how to move forward. So my request in one line is that if the honorable members are concerned about certain villages, please bring them to us. We are ready to meet the people, talk and figure out how we could move forward within the framework of the MOU.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I just want to know from the Honorable CM, as to what is the stand of the government, sir, with regard to the villages, the 36 number of villages in Block 1 area. Will they be a part of the discussion, sir?
Sir, I mean, there's a lot I can say, but the problem is, sir, that we are in the assembly, sir, and whatever I say today becomes an official record for the discussions that takes place. So if I say 20 villages, then Assam government during the negotiations and discussions and talks can quote me saying that the Chief Minister has said that these are the villages. So I would request that the members would respect that, because everything I say today for the second process will be taken as an official record if I say it today in the assembly. And hence, for example, as I said, the official records, it was sent in 2011. It became very difficult for us to change those records because it was officially sent. So without answering details about the number of villages and this and that, sir, all I would like to say is that our efforts will be to ensure that we do the maximum we can to get the people in the areas which are ours and try and discuss with Assam in a way possible to get those villages, sir. So I don't want to say X number, Y number, as I said, because whatever I say, sir, will be again used against us or for us, and it becomes an official statement for their discussions and negotiations. So therefore, sir, let me assure the honorable member that we will do our best. We have done our best in the first phase also. and a large number of areas we've been able to get. We will do our best, sir, but I cannot assure that these number or that number will be there. It may be even more. We never know, sir. But it's something that I would request that let the government allow the government to do the process, and we will do our best. And I know the concerns of the honourable member. He has sat with me maybe 3, 4, 5 times, and his constituency is very much affected by this, and he has been very concerned about it. He came to me also mentioning. So he and I know the details of the matter, how many villages there are. But as I said, it would not be in the interest of the process if we were to discuss the numbers right now, sir.
Now,
sir, one more, sir.
Last.
Sir, I would just like to get an assurance from the Honorable Chief Minister, sir, whether all the headmen will be taken on board for the discussion, sir. That is very important, sir. So I just want to get an assurance that all the headmen, the stakeholder, should be taken on board for the discussions.
So we have made it a practice to always sit with the honourable members and different stakeholders, including the headmen and the Rangbashnongs. So that process will again continue. But specifically, if his mention is that would they be in the committee, in the regional committee, so that is limited to 5 members. So therefore, we cannot go beyond that. But the committee will obviously have sittings and discussions and talks with all stakeholders, so not just the Rangbashnongs, but even all other leaders, social organizations. Definitely, sir, engagement will be done with all.
Now we move to start question 53. Minister in charge, please.
Hands, during that question, I want to take part. Please allow me. It is my privilege.
I've already moved to...
So please, you try to annoy me.
Honourable member, kindly refrain from such kind of accusation of the chair.
Mr. Speaker, sir,
please.
I have raised my hands frequently.
Yes, but don't show that kind of approach to the chair. You can request always, and I will always respond.
That's what I have.
Yes.
I will raise and I have request you in a very.
Yes, I will request.
Decent way.
I will definitely.
Okay, please, sir. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Just one question, please.
Sir, this is a matter of concern, life and death of the people, of this present generation and the future generation. I would like to get a clear specification from Honorable Chief Minister, whether he dares or not to bring this issue, MOU for review. Why? Because MOU, as we all understood that MOU is Memorandum of Understanding. Memorandum of Understanding between whom? Between both Chief Minister of the State of Meghalaya and State Assam, or between the 2 states. If amendment to the Constitution can be brought from time to time, why not review of MOU cannot? There must be something behind. Please, sir.
So I respect the sentiments of the honourable member, but I dare to ask him, can you name the 12 areas of differences for me if you are so concerned about it? Please name them. Please name the areas of differences and tell me, sir, how many times has he visited these areas of differences and these villages and he's met the people? Please tell us.
Thank you.
Don't read out. Don't read out.
Yes. No.
Say by memory.
I'm not going to read. And I'm not going to spell out. That is your duty bomb. That is your duty bomb. And you feel at very first place without taking a confidence for all stakeholders. That's why this issue came into...
How can you say that? Please ask.
Please, Deputy Chief Minister, sir. Respected Deputy Chief Minister.
Please,
you yourself, you have made a statement by saying that not a single aim will go to Assam. Didn't you?
Mr. Speaker, sir, he has to ask the question.
Deputy Chief Minister, sir. Respected
Deputy Chief Minister. Don't be emotional.
You have said that
don't be emotional.
Land will not go to Assam.
Don't be emotional. Don't be emotional.
Deputy Chief Minister, please.
Emotional. Because of this, not because of you. You are pushing and you never practice.
Please take a seat, please.
You keep on pushing and never practice.
Please take a seat.
That's why you gotta be emotional.
Please take a seat.
Why? Being emotional is a criminal.
Please take a seat.
It's a sin.
Please. Please.
You don't know anything.
Don't try to
and you talk as if you are the only person.
Don't try to play political drama.
Don't try to act.
This is
Don't
life.
try to
This is
We are-
life.
Adelbert, please. Adelbert, please.
We are concerned about this life. Don't you understand? Life.
Therefore, Mr.
That is
Speaker,
life.
I think let him name that 12 areas of differentiation.
Please, Adelbert, this is question hour.
Yes,
you may please place your question, the supplementary question, and the reply will be there. Please, you don't show any kind of.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Please just place your supplementary question. That's all. This is a question hour. I am allowed more than 40 minutes for one question only. Other members also, they are asking for their turn, that the questions also should be there during the question hour.
I clearly understood.
Please try to understand. I'm not going to annoy anyone here.
Yeah.
I have to respect each and every member of this August House.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, I would like to get a clarity from Honorable Chief Minister whether he dares or not to bring for review the MOU. That's what I want. People of the state want to know about that.
So before I start, sir, I would request he don't interfere and intervene when I speak, sir. That's my request, sir.
That is a practice.
So first thing.
But we are here bind by rules and law.
Yes, sir.
Rules and procedures.
So please follow the rules. So the first point which I mentioned is that all of us are emotional about this topic. There's no doubt about it. And I respect the sentiments of the honorable member and what he's been saying. And that is the reason why we as a government decided to go ahead and say that we will find a solution. And we have, as I said, conducted more than 28 different days. Multiple meetings took place. And this discussion has gone to the micro detail and involvement of everybody, sir. Why I was telling the honorable member to name the areas of differences is because sometimes this happens, sir. We become emotional about some issue, not even knowing the areas of differences, not even knowing the villages, not even knowing the sentiment of the people out there, not even knowing what has actually gone into it. If there are areas of concern that are there, please name them. Tell us which area you're talking about, which area you want to be reviewed. Just creating a scene and drama and trying to show emotional outbursts is not the way, sir. We are all emotional. I mean, there's a reason why we're sticking to this. But just simply coming here and having a shout and drama and all these things for whatever reason, sir, maybe elections is coming or whatever it is, I don't know. That does not help. If you have a specific concern and a specific village where the issue is there, please tell us. We are ready to discuss. And that is what is the purpose of having this question and speaking for 45 minutes on this, sir. That tell us specifics. Don't be generic. We're not able to resolve the problem if we're being generic and just giving out emotional outbursts, sir. This is a serious matter. We are here for serious discussion. We are ready to answer all the questions. We're ready to take the talks forward. But please be specific and give us constructive opinions. Even it may be criticism. You may criticize, but be constructive in the criticism. So therefore, sir, there is a way of doing things. Emotional outbursts is not the way. So that's my request, sir. And to reply back to his question, sir, we dare to move forward with this. It's not a question of dare to not move forward or dare to. We dared to go ahead with this. This is the only government that dared to say that we will do it. We took it as our responsibility that we will do this. It is we who dared. And today, for the honorable member to come up and say that, if you dare to take it out, sir, I mean, these are all very childish statements being made. Let him read and understand what the areas of differences are, understand the problems that the people are facing, then let him speak and specifically mention which villages he's talking about.
Thank you, Honorable Chief Minister. Through you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Sir, many times I had mentioning about this very vital issue. One at a time when you convene for meeting. And I always mention that please do not leave all the stakeholder and please take them into confidence. You said, yes, absolutely. Then I said, go ahead. Because we have been left out this very vital issue for many, many years. I do agree and I appreciate. I applaud because you have gone ahead to trying to resolve this very vital issue. No doubt about that. But there are some places which had been resolved. It's good enough. But there are some which still grievances lying, which people had been reveal, and also the stakeholder like KHDC.
Honorable member,
and
this is a
Hima,
question hour. Please place your question. If you would like to talk at length, you kindly bring it in the form of motion, resolution, or whatever form.
Yes,
there are other ways to bring out for discussion in this August House. Question hour is just place your question, answer will be given.
No, right from before you should have.
No. I will allow. I will allow, definitely.
So because of that, my specific question is this, that what had been resolved, that is done already. But what had not been resolved, which is still lying.
Which one?
Please take into confidence, the stakeholder, so that this very vital issue will not going to lose, because land is life, sir. That is what I'm very concerned about.
Okay. So just to, this is only for basic record, sir, that the Chief Minister, since the last 8 months before this MOU signed, met 7 times. We had a meeting, I had a meeting personally, apart from myself, the regional committee members had different meetings with the KHDC, GHDC, MDCs and traditional heads on the 15th of December 2021. I had 2 meetings with all political parties, once on 15th of December and one on 7th of March. I had 2 meetings with the NGOs, once on 15th of December and the 23rd of February. So we have been engaging. I've been engaging at my level. But apart from that, the regional committee heads have been engaging even more with the local NGOs, with the local MDCs, with the local traditional heads. So just bringing out a statement against it, emotionally saying all stakeholders should be consulted. So we did. It's very difficult to argue and discuss when there's no basis of discussion on points, in the sense that he keeps saying that those areas which are not resolved, let him give the name, sir. Give me one name of which village are you talking about? Yeah, give me a name. Give me specifics, sir. How can I talk about the whole MOU, sir? That we need a special session only for this, sir. What I'm saying is that give me a specific name of the village that you're talking about. I'm ready to discuss about that. Which village is he talking about, sir?
Honorable Chief Minister, through you, Mr. Speaker, sir, I do agree, like what you have said. I agree that you have taken them into confidence. No doubt about that. But during the district committee, no doubt they had given a suggestion to you, and also even the committee which has been set up, that also has been given as per and accordingly. But at a time when decision making, maybe you gone aside by all those suggestions.
Which village?
You call all the concerned stakeholders, then you will be knowing better. That's why you don't have you don't dare. Because of that.
Sir, what do I talk, sir?
No, what my point is this. So because this is life and death of the people. Because of that, so please kindly hear our request that kindly call them and have a final discussion.
So call whom? Which village?
No, the stakeholder.
Which one? For which area?
KHDC, and then
which village? Which village? Sir, I hope you're understanding my point. So we can keep going on and on with this.
It's okay.
I'm specific, sir. I'm ready to discuss.
No, like areas for in Assam, ASTB.
Name of the village. Which area
which has been
which one?
Out.
Which one? Give me the name. Which one, sir?
You can give any name if you wish to.
Sir, if you can give me area of differences also, which one? Which particular area? You're talking about Gizang, you're talking about Tarabari, you're talking about Hahim, you're talking about Borduar, you're talking about Motuar, you're talking about
now
are you talking about Langri, are you talking about Kanduli, Risyar, Block 1, Block 2, Ratachera, are you talking about the villages of Gohani Mara, Amagao or Malsapara?
No, but what Gizang mentioned
so I need names.
Yes, in Khanapara, ASBT, which...
Please, we'll have to move to another question.